This is more than the equivalent of 7 Super Bowls compressed in a 30-day time period.
Is it ring over $100 million?
It is over $100 million. It is. We are a soccer community. Be in public service. It's not sexy. It doesn't get you very fast results financially.
Welcome to Game Plan, a podcast where you're going to be meeting athletes, business owners, entrepreneurs, and industry leaders. I'm Kaio Philip, and I'm going to be your host. What is your game plan?
On this week's episode, Alina Hudak.
She has run Miami Beach, the city of Miami. She has brought 6 Super Bowls to South Florida, and she's now leading the Miami FIFA 2026 host committee. Welcome to Game Plan, Alina Hudak. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me, Kaio. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's talk about your role at the Miami FIFA 2026 host committee. You decided to leave the politics life to jump into the soccer life. Why?
Well, I will tell you that it wasn't a conscious decision. I retired from Miami-Dade County after 35 years, thinking, quite frankly, that I was going to go into the academic environment. And then I ended up at the city of Miami Beach, which obviously also was a passion. And so when I finished my tenure at the city of Miami Beach, again, I thought that I was going to do some consulting work that was strategic, but go into academia. And when I got the call, because, I did get a call asking me if I was interested in this position, for me, it was such an opportunity to blend all of my experiences, because a lot of our work is operational and a lot of what we have to implement and what we have to do has to do with how we deliver services, public safety,
Right.
transportation, and coordinating logistics with a lot of different governments. So to be honest, I felt that the opportunity was such a legacy moment for somebody who loves Miami-Dade and somebody who loves this community as much as I do. I felt that it was a really good opportunity and it was a very good fit for my background and my experience. And so I took it.
Are you working harder than before? Is it hard to run?
It is.
Take like FIFA to host, or to Miami to become a host city for such a big tournament, right? Globally?
It's very challenging because it's a very compressed time period. Right now, we're a year out. And so it's a compressed time period, and we have a lot to accomplish and a lot to coordinate. I wouldn't tell you that it's easier. It's definitely not easier. The pressures are different, and the expectations obviously have global implications. We are a global destination. There's a lot of people watching what we do here. For us, I think it's not just about the World Cup and what that means to South Florida, but it's about future events and wanting to do things really well because we want future events to come here. So it's a little pressure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Do you have an idea of the economic impact that will drive to
We
Miami?
do. We had a formal economic impact that was done by FIFA, and it shows about a $1.3 billion impact over the 35 days that the World Cup will be in South Florida. There's an expectation that, anywhere between 600 to 700,000 people will come to the region and to the state of Florida. So it is a very significant economic impact, and something that I love to tell people, and people don't realize this. In June, July, that's the lowest point in our tourism economy, and we are very much a tourism industry city. So for us to have that kind of impact in June and July for our hospitality industry, for our hotels, for all of our businesses, very significant and very important.
Do you think Americans are passionate about soccer? Because you had all the Pelé thing in the 90s, then you had the Beckham moving to LA in the early 2000s, and then you had the MLS growing and becoming what it's becoming now. You have Apple, you have Messi, obviously, in the city. But I still see that obviously the NBA and the NFL are what drives America. But how do you see that, being married with somebody from Pennsylvania, right?
Well, I will tell you, and this is a really interesting thing that I can't figure out how the transition happens to World Cup. But every little girl in America plays soccer. My girls played soccer. My nieces in Pennsylvania played soccer. My nieces in Virginia played soccer. And so soccer is very much a part of American culture.
Yep.
And soccer fields in public parks are a big commodity and important. So soccer is popular in the United States. Little boys and little girls are playing soccer all over this country. How that translates into enthusiasm for a World Cup, I don't know that I can predict that, but I can tell you that I think, the love of soccer is there. The interest in soccer is there. I think MLS, has done an incredible job. I think, look, Inter Miami and Messi and what he represents to soccer in the United States is really significant. There's a real passion there.
When you see that impact and the influence that can make to the host committee next year, are you guys relying that you're gonna surf the wave, the Messi wave?
I don't think we view it that way. No, I think World Cup and the passion for your country is a very different feeling. And so I believe that passion will be there. And I believe that the United States is such an international country that passion for your country will be there. And it'll be, you'll feel it, you'll see it. There'll be a following. I think people will come, and I think people will follow their team. They will make it a 30-day holiday. I've had conversations with our local consulate corps, and it's interesting, the questions that they want to ask me, because they believe that their countrymen and women are coming to Miami to basically make Miami the hub, and then travel and follow their team all over the country. So
are we hosting any national teams? Do you know already?
Not yet. We don't know
it's
that.
Not public
and we won't.
yet, right?
No. And teams
but
negotiate.
I'm sure there are conversations of hosting many.
Yes, we don't. And the draw, as you know, will be in December. So we don't really even know who the teams are that will be here.
Do you have a bet on who's going to win?
No, we don't even talk about that, but maybe we'll start that. Maybe we'll start something, around that subject.
I've been asking people, by the way, and I heard Spain twice already. I'm like, really, Spain? And I haven't heard US or Brazil yet, but I heard not Argentina as well.
Last year, my family we were in Spain when Spain won the Euro, and it was such an exciting time. I had no idea at the time that I would be in this role. So it was very exciting to be there when they won.
But thinking about that, what other events could happen in Miami that are not, like, you have the Formula One, obviously, which is very successful. We just had the FIFA Club World Cup, that was extremely successful. But what else could happen in Miami that is still...
A lot can happen in Miami, and a lot that we're interested in making sure comes back to Miami. 2026, the beginning of 2026 is really important to all of us. And I'm on the Orange Bowl Committee. I've been on the Orange Bowl Committee for many years. And for example, the Orange Bowl Committee is going to be hosting a semifinal and helping to host a national championship game in January. The World Classic Baseball is coming to Miami in March. We have a hockey game that's being hosted at Marlins Stadium in January also. So we're always, I think as leaders, we're always looking for events that want to come to Miami because we want that kind of vibrancy here. So we want to be back in the cycle for a Super Bowl. We want to make sure that Super Bowls keep coming back here. We want to be in the cycle for, the Women's World Cup. We want the Women's World Cup to
2031.
2031. We want national championships to keep coming back here. So we want to be in the mix for everything. We want events here. That's, I think, something that this community needs from a tourism perspective and from an economic perspective.
Right. When you see the impact of the recent tournament now in July, why do you think Miami was more successful than New York?
For us, again, the FIFA Club was a big surprise, right? It wasn't a tournament that was planned. It wasn't part of the equation for the Miami Host Committee. So for us, we weren't sure quite what to expect. But it ended up being a very great opportunity for many reasons. Like you are describing, very well attended in Miami, a lot of energy. It helped us, for people who don't understand World Cup and what it means, it helped showcase soccer in a different light. And so for us, it was a really wonderful opportunity to host potential commercial partners. It was a wonderful opportunity to observe and to learn from the experience. And so I think that the reason Miami was so successful compared to some of the other cities that didn't have the level of attendance that we did is that we are a soccer community. We're international. We're extremely international. People love soccer here. And so the audience was here, and that vibrancy is real. And I think we showed it.
You think price for the World Cup would be reasonable?
Well, look, the Miami Host Committee has no role in defining ticket prices.
Right.
That's obviously a
It's
FIFA.
a good explanation, actually, for people who doesn't know.
That's a FIFA responsibility, and obviously that will be determined and defined by FIFA. I think what I can say to that's important is the Miami Host Committee is making sure that we have a beautiful and amazing fan festival, hopefully for about 20 plus days, so that people who can't afford to go, but they want to be in Miami, they want to experience the energy of a World Cup, they can come to a fan fest in one of our premier parks and participate in viewing World Cup matches, in concerts, in interactive opportunities for their family, for their children. So we're very excited about what our Fan Fest will look like, and we want to make sure that it's an inclusive experience so that people that can't afford that ticket can come and enjoy Miami and be a part of World Cup.
How is the fan zone for a person in the US that haven't been to one? Like, how does that work?
Right. Well, the vision for us is 3 stages, multiple viewing opportunities, not only for the matches that are happening here in Miami, for matches that are happening throughout the country.
The final as well?
Yes, the final as well. We anticipate that we will have, again, concerts, there'll be viewing parties, there'll be concerts, there'll be interactive activities, but we're also hoping to bring some of the viewing opportunities into the neighborhoods. And again, that will all be a function of our ability to raise the money. But, we're a very large geographic area, Miami-Dade County. And so we're hoping to have viewing opportunities on the north end, on the west end, and on the south end, and on Miami Beach as well.
Interesting.
So that's the dream. We're working hard to make that happen. And we certainly hope that we are able to afford the public that kind of opportunity, because it's going to be a really amazing time for us as a community, and we want everybody to feel a part of it.
And Miami is hosting 7 games at the Hard Rock.
We are hosting 7 matches, and that includes a quarterfinal, and it includes a bronze medal final.
And expecting over 600,000 people. That's tremendous.
Yeah,
that's for the city.
It is.
The city, the traffic will be crazy, right? I'm sure. I mean, I don't know.
No,
Are they launching more Metro
we're
movers?
working very closely with Miami-Dade County government
sure.
and looking for transportation alternatives, and we're looking for opportunity to really supplement the existing transportation service. But, we have to be honest and we have to be transparent. If you have a city that is hosting a World Cup, you're going to have traffic. And that's a good thing, because that means that you're really energized.
Yeah.
You don't want a city that doesn't have traffic.
Tell us a bit about yourself. You started, how do you start in this career from when you look back 40 years? 41 years,
41 years, yes.
And then you look to yourself right now and how much you accomplished. How that happened? How did you start doing? Like when you wake up and decide?
That's such a wonderful question for so many reasons, because it allows me to talk about my inspiration, which are my parents. I come from a very humble family, Cuban refugees who came to this country in search of a better life with great pain and great sacrifice. And I think my parents instilled in my brother and me a real love for public service, a real love for giving back to a country that they were very grateful for. So I always had a love of government and public service and an interest in government. To be very honest, I thought I was going to be an attorney. I went to the University of Miami thinking that I was going to get a degree in political science, and then I was going to go to law school. And instead, I got a degree and a master's degree in public administration. And I was hired very young, fresh out of my graduate program, by Miami-Dade County in a management trainee program that was intended to train the future of the government.
That was not to review your age.
1984.
84.
1984. I am a proud 65-year-old.
Come on, you look very much younger. But that was a different Miami, no? It was Miami. It was like a more dangerous Miami?
It was a very different Miami. Obviously, narcotics and drug trafficking was very much a part of our narrative. We had headlines all over, national publications about, Paradise Lost. So it was a very different time. And so, again, a tremendous opportunity to learn, to grow through the ranks, to participate in the change of what we are today. And so I'm very proud of that
course.
record of public service. I had tremendous opportunity and great people and great mentors who helped me on a path that, for me is very emotional because I loved every minute of it. There's never a day that I didn't love going to work.
When you look back, all the evolution, so I think the city owes you, at least a thank you, right? Because you've accomplished a lot. And,
Thank you.
and
The one thing I will tell you, Kaio, is I don't think that as leaders, anybody, that we can take it for granted, right? I think we have to always be better. And I don't think that we can look at this beautiful landscape
get
and take
comfortable.
it for granted or
Yep.
take it or get comfortable. And I think that's a very important point to make because I think it's easy to get comfortable.
How do you have two daughters, right?
I have two daughters.
How do you see this new generation taking a public, like not a public sector role like you and growing to the ranks?
Yeah,
How do you tell your daughters or your people that you advise?
That's a very frustrating experience because I do believe that we need excellent, qualified people in public service, and because I think we've become such a soundbite society, and everything is about the soundbite on social media. There really isn't the interest, I think, on the part of a lot of young people to be in public service. It's not sexy. It doesn't get you very fast results financially. It's a commitment that you have to make. And so with my own daughters, I've been, my husband and I both have been in public service our entire lives. And so we've taught them that even if their path doesn't take them in that direction, that it's very important to give back. And it's very important, whatever they're doing, they have to be happy, that then they're in their private world, they have to figure out how to be a part of the community and how to give back and how to care about it. And so we're proud of that because I think that we've instilled that in them for sure. Their work ethic, I'm very proud of. They learned from us that it's 24/7. And honestly, this was a bit of a sore subject with us when, right after COVID, when there was, and there still is, that big debate about hybrid work environments and getting back to the office. And I was very strict about that in my workplace. I felt we're a government. We have to be here. We have to be in City Hall. We have to be present. We have our police officers on the street. The administration has to be back in the office. And I had a debate about that with my own daughters. And I will tell you that I still feel very passionately about that. I think you can't lead and you can't expect people to deliver results if you're not present and
Right.
you're not part of it and you're not on the ground. And I hope that I've instilled that work ethic in my daughters. I'm pretty proud of both of them.
When you think about the non-negotiables on your job and that you carried a lot of your legacy, a lot of your work ethics from working with the public sector, and you're applying that in a place where you have to raise cash, you have to deal with advertisers, private companies. What is a non-negotiable for you for the event to be spotless next year?
Well, I think from an integrity perspective, because so much of our budget will come from the public sector, I mean, we have asked governments for a heavy lift, right? We've asked them to contribute public dollars to what we have to deliver. So for me, obviously being very frugal with that money, making sure that everything is being used appropriately and to deliver the direct services is very important, and that's non-negotiable. That's something that I'm very cautious of and very much, I've hired somebody who has experience with public accounting to make sure that we have a really good, transparent process for purposes of the public money that we're using. And then obviously, I think we're going to have to make very difficult choices because at some point, we're going to have an established budget and we're going to get to a point where we need to make decisions about deliverables. So we're not going to be able to do the entire dream, perhaps. And so making sure that we pick the core things that are important to making sure that it's a safe event. Public safety is number one, paramount, the single most important thing about delivering not only the matches at the stadium, but our fan festival. So I think there are very specific priorities and core, principles of what we have to deliver that are part of the requirement of the bid. And those are the things that are going to be the priority.
Is the dream over $100 million?
It is over $100 million. It is for sure over $100 million.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, but again,
It's going to generate $1 billion. So
yeah, and I've been on 6 Super Bowl host committees in my 40 plus years of tenure, and And obviously, Super Bowls are expensive as well to attract here, and the NFL has all the same expectations of a community that FIFA has. But it's different because it's one weekend, and this is more than the equivalent of 7 Super Bowls compressed in a 30-day time period. So obviously, the cost of that are much different.
Once that ends, right? Are you considering doing other events here, doing this another Super Bowl?
Oh my God! I won't tell you how old I'll be when this is over.
Oh, come
so
on.
at some point, you know, at some point I hope to have a slower life. I mean, it's been a very fast-paced 41 years. I've been doing this at this level for 41 years.
Right.
So we'll see. I never say, endings are for new beginnings. I like to think of it that way.
No, you're being very humble, I would say.
Thank you.
Let's do a quick fire. I have to ask you 2 things, and you have to pick one. Okay.
Okay.
Soccer or football?
Soccer.
That's good, right?
Yeah,
I'm
you
glad,
know,
I'm
I know
glad.
where my bread is buttered.
El Palacio de los Jugos or Pura Vida?
Pura vida.
Versailles Café or Carbone?
Oh no, I love Versailles. I'm sorry, I'm Cuban. But I love Carbone, obviously.
Sunrise on the beach or sunset on the bay?
Sunset on the bay.
Run a city or run the World Cup?
I spent 40 years running government, and it is my passion, and it is my true love.
Well, Alina Hudak, thanks for coming. Thanks for what you're building. And thank you for sharing your game plan with us. And I hope to see you around in the World Cup.
Thank you, Kaio. I hope to have a lot of fun with you.
We will, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
everyone for watching. See you next time on Game Plan. Game Plan is brought to you by Inter. Nearly 40 million clients around the Americas. You want to know more? Download Inter right now. Stay tuned for more.